on this episode, we know what we're covering. Get on with the intro. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to HCW Show Squared, the show where we take the HCW show format and essentially expand it to the power of, you guessed it, 2. My name is Dan, DP, or as we all say, DPZ. Yeah. But before we get into things, I want to give a quick reminder that if you like the content that we put out, our individual, the heart point, point up there we go. The links for our social medias are up there, so we have our Twitter, or X, sorry, our Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and of course our Twitch channel, which we do regularly stream on now. So just like casual games and all that. But again, if you're looking for our support and support us in any way, really, give us a follow on any of those platforms up there. And if you feel ever so inclined, you can feel free to also give me a follow down here on the Twitters, on the X's, whatever. But without any further ado, I think we should just get into this. So yeah, let's kick things off with NXT for the 12th of September. So we kick things off straight away with a NXT title #1 contenders match. Ilya Dragunov taking on Wesley. Ilya wins with a strike to the back of Wesley's head. It's like a forearm sort of smash sort of thing. I rated this 4.25 stars. It was exactly what I thought it would be. It was a brutal match. It was really great to watch. And now we have the No Mercy main event that we wanted to see. Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov. Will Carmelo prove his win over Ilya was not a fluke? Or will Ilya take what he feels is rightfully his? Exciting times lay ahead and on the way to No Mercy. After this, we get a vignette / recap sort of thing. They make a big deal out of Braun Breaker's actions from last week against Von Wagner, where he, slammed the steel steps on Von Wagner's prone head. But we now have a medical update on Wagner's condition. Wagner is diagnosed with a minor skull fracture, but because of his history with skull surgeries, his recovery and comeback period are uncertain for the time being. We go to the ring with Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin also recaps the main event ending from last week. He then calls out Braun Breaker. Breaker comes out. Corbin then praises his actions from last week, but Braun wants none of it. Corbin says he's going to be nice, and he even offers to pay off the fine for causing an injury. He then mentions part of his career and that he retired 2 Olympic gold medalists. Thank you for that second one. But Braun cuts him off and then challenges him to a match at No Mercy. And then they exchange slaps before a fight breaks out, and then security come in and break it up. We move on to a 6-man tag match. Josh Briggs, Brooke Jensen, and Miles Bourne taking on a team of Drew Gulak, Charlie Dempsey, and Damon Kemp. Team Gulak win when Bourne turns on Briggs and Jensen, and Kemp hits a rock bottom neckbreaker combo move sort of thing. I rated this 1.5 stars. It didn't get enough time to get going, and I raised the question that I raised last week, and I think the week before that. If you've got a 2-hour show like NXT, why are you getting matches that are less than 3 minutes long? It helps no one, and it makes the losers look weaker than if they'd lost a longer match. Also kind of makes Team Gulak look stupid, because if this was a premeditated move by Gulak and his goons for Miles to, infiltrate Brooks and Jensen and Henley, then surely it makes more sense to have him play along with it for a few weeks or months even, before then turning, and potentially bring in Henley or Brooks or Jensen with him, rather than just turn. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there were concerns that Miles wouldn't be able to maintain interest in a longer storyline. I don't know, to be honest. Anyway, moving on. We get a vignette. We're in the Chase U classroom. Andre Chase is worried that he hasn't seen Thea in a while, so he asks Duke to locate her. But Duke has been blocked by Thea. We then cut to some sort of bar restaurant thing backstage. I have no clue what the setting is because it looks so weird. So we're basically just showing Thea literally just blocking Duke Hudson there and then talking with JC Jane, who she's with. They're approached by two guys who essentially tease Thea for being girlish, for being childish. But then Thea and just beat them up in a very goofy segment. Thea then says that they're gonna go shopping next week because she doesn't want to look like the way she does anymore. Cool. Back to the ring. We get a match between Lyra Valkyria and Dana Brooke. Lyra wins with a top rope splash. Post-match, Dana tries to lunge at Lyra, but Kalani holds her back. Lyra doesn't see this, so she's understandably confused by all this. I rated this 2 stars. And that's purely because of Lyra. It's getting more difficult to watch Dana Brooke in the, aspiring mentor role. But they're seemingly trying to keep going with it. It's not working out. And eventually someone's got to snap. Whether it's Dana on Kalani or Kalani on Dana. Whatever. Something needs to happen soon. Speaking of Kalani, though, we get a little vignette ad thing. A little vignette ad thing for the upcoming NXT Women's Breakout Tournament. So Kalani will probably be in that. We get an interview with Eddie Thorpe. Eddie says it's hard to be focused on anything else when you're dealing with a snake like Dijak. Then cut to Dijak on cue, being on Eddie's territory, which is literally just the outside. Dijak then begins whacking a tree with his belt. Okay. It was incredibly goofy. It made Dijak look a bit stupid. He's just... But Thorpe with what is just standing there backstage watching the screen of Dijak just whacking a tree with a belt. Like, I get the reasoning, but it just looks stupid. Anyway, Tyler Bate now is making his entrance for his match. And then we cut backstage. Dominic Mysterio is talking with Carmelo Hayes about the title belts that they respectively have. And then they exchange a couple of barbs between them. And then they set a potential match for next week. With Dominic saying that he's going to find Mummy. We then get an interview with Becky Lynch. Becky reflects on her career in NXT. She's still as angry, still as hungry, and she's still as determined as she was back then. She's then cut off by Kiana James, who interrupts to say that she doesn't want Becky in NXT, and that if it was her fighting Becky tonight, she'd send Becky back to Raw empty-handed. Which Becky takes as an application for an ass beating after she wins the title from Tiffany later on tonight. Then we cut to the matter at hand. Yeah, with fucking Tyler Bate, who's still in the ring at this point. He's had to sit through 2 whole segments to get here, but we are here. We have an NXT Global Heritage Invitational Group A match. Tyler Bate, who's on 0 points, because this is his first match of the tournament, taking on Axiom, who's on 1 point because he lost to... who did he lose to? He lost to... My brain is not working. Axiom lost to... My brain, wow. No, this is Axiom's first match. Second match, sorry. Oh, yeah. So he drew with Butch. Yeah, that's the only thing he's had so far. Right? Because he... Yeah. Yeah, Axiom's on 1 point because he drew with Butch. And that's the only thing he's had so far. Because Axiom has not faced Dempsey yet. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. Tyler wins with the Tyler Chyra in 97. I rated this 3 3/4 stars. It was a really fun match. Axiom seems to be that kind of guy who will typically lose, but you can always get a good match out of him. Meanwhile, Tyler can focus on umpire matches with no, looming threats, right? No Devikatos, no 7-foot giants, Nothing at all will be in the way of Tyler Bate here. But as the group stands following this match, we have Butch on 3 points with 1 win, 1 loss. 1 win, 1 draw, sorry. We have Tyler Bate in second, who's got 1 win. That's it. Axiom in third with 1 point, having 1 draw and 1 loss. And Chai Dempsey at the bottom, who has 1 loss only. And 0 points. We get an interview with Butch following this. Butch is here to prove that he's the baddest man in all of the WWE. He shows respect for Bate and their history, and then the match is confirmed for next week. Then we get a bit of deja vu as the Creed brothers make their entrance for their match. Now I got to a vignette. Schism is down to 2 routes now because both Dyad members have let their contract run out for WWE, so they're leaving WWE. And they say that their tree is dying. So it's just Joe Gacy and Ava Rain now until they assumably get 2 more guys. We go backstage. Carmelo and Trick are in the locker room. And Trick offers to have Carmelo's back for next week and for No Mercy and all that. But Carmelo declines. And there's no hard feeling between the pair of them. Meanwhile, as they're reconnecting, rekindling their partnership, Wesley is in the background and he's clearing away his locker. He's clearing the stuff out of his locker, taking the nameplate off, putting everything in his bag basically. Looking very mopey. But we get to the ring. The Creed brothers, who, like Tyler Bate, have been in the ring for 2 whole segments. Why? Wrestling, I guess. And they take on Malik Blade and Edris Enofe. The Creeds win following a powerbomb and Brutus Ball combination. Post-match, they noticed Los Lotharios watching, and Hank and Tank Ledger come down the ramp, but they're attacked by Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. I rated this 2.5 stars. It was a short match. It made sense given the names in the match, but the Creeds keep showing that they're head and shoulders above like 95% of the NXT tag roster. Backstage, Becky Lynch runs into Lyra Valkyria, and they're happy to see each other. And Lyra hopes that Becky wins the title later on. Backstage again, Roxanne Perez is talking with the newer women in the roster about the breakout tournament and how she won last year's and had to go through several people who are now bigger stars in the landscape of NXT. But she's interrupted by Elektra Lopez and Lola Vice, who basically just talk crap to her. Lola says that she's going to teach Roxanne a lesson and that she'll win the breakout tournament. So that is confirmed for next week. Roxanne Perez and Lola Vice. We move on now to a match that actually had 2 entrances. It was the NXT Global Heritage Invitational Group B match between Nathan Frazier and Akira Tozawa. This is both guys' final match. Nathan Frazier has to win, and Akira can't win the group anyway. So Akira's out officially. Nathan wins with a superplex, transitioned into a final cut. I mean, I rated this 2 stars. It was another short match, sub 3 minutes. Again, I don't get why you got a 2-hour show. I'll keep saying it. It won't land with anyone, but it's fine. If you give him more time, then this could have been a great match. Akira's a great wrestler. Nathan's a great wrestler. I don't know why you've got to have these short matches, because the chance of these 2 fighting again is quite low, because Akira's on Raw anyway. So, feels a bit like a waste, personally. But, with Frazier's win, these are the current standings. We have Joe Coffey at the top with 4 points, 2 wins, and that's it. He has 1 match remaining. Nathan Frazier is second with 4 points, with 2 wins and 1 loss. That 1 loss being the Joe Coffey. He has no matches remaining. Duke Hudson, who's on 2 points, he has 1 win, 1 loss. That win was against Akira Tozawa, and that loss was to Nathan Frazier. On 2 points, and he has 1 match remaining. And then the bottom with Akira Tozawa on 0 points, who's lost all his matches and cannot do anything. So we go backstage. Joe Coffey is confident about winning the B block, and then Duke cuts him off, pointing out the fact that if he beats Coffey, it'll be a three-way tie because they've all then beaten each other. So Coffey beat Frazier, Frazier beat Hudson, and in turn Hudson would then have beaten Coffey. This is what I said last week. But here we are. You know, like I was saying this last week about the scenario of if Frazier beat Zawa because that leaves them 2 on 4 points, and Coffey would have the tiebreaker over Frazier. But if Hudson beats Coffey, which is probably going to happen, then Hudson's also on 4 points, and then you'll have a three-way tie between the three of them. And I don't know how you'd settle that. But yeah, Duke is probably winning, and he mentions that he wants to add a nickname spoiler to his list of nicknames, because that would be what he'd do. He'd play in spoiler Joe Coffey, even though Joe Coffey could still qualify depending on what the three-way tie thing is. We get an interview now with Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali is glad that he's now a #1 contender, but he doesn't really seem to care about the past three count from last week. Dragon Lee comes in and he's not happy. The fuck hasn't even happened. Mustafa doesn't really acknowledge it and then claims that he'll win at No Mercy for Dragon Lee. He'll win for Mackenzie, the interviewer, and then he'll win for himself. He'll win for basically the entire NXT fan base, and promises that Dragon Lee will get the first title match when Ali is champion. So it's only fair. Dragon isn't entirely pleased with the development, no, and he says he's not done with Ali. We go backstage again. Wesley is seen leaving the venue. He is done with NXT. He mopes again. He's looking down at the ground. He's got a bag in hand. Someone's waiting at the door for him. I think it's probably his girlfriend or his wife. They embrace and then they leave. But never mind that, because as soon as they leave, we get some sort of altercation where Gigi Dolan has attacked Blair Davenport, and they're just fighting like by the exit way, and then security coming to break it up. Security are getting their money worth tonight. We move on to the main event of the night. For the NXT Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton defends against Becky Lynch. A match that had most people split, I'd say. The idea of it being on TV added the element of a potential fucked finish. Also, if Tiffany could win, you know, it raises her stock. Even a loss raises her stock, really. But a win here would really raise her stock and then really raise her reign as champion. Meanwhile, Becky coming in seems like the sort of thing they did a couple of years ago with Charlotte, where, you know, the main roster person comes in and wins the title for a bit, and then they lose it to someone, and that elevates that one person who they lose it to. But yeah, the match itself, Becky wins with the manhandle slam. We have a new women's champion. I rated the match 4 stars. It was much better than I thought it would be. Tiffany's really opened my eyes with her performance. I don't think she's ready yet, but she'll be a star on the main roster in a few years. She didn't miss a beat, and she didn't even seem nervous or anxious as a high profile name like Becky Lynch. Becky brought out the best of Tiffany in the match that I'd argue is Tiffany's probably her best match to date. Becky's a new champion though, in a move that I'm not so sure was that obvious. The title change on 2 episodes just didn't seem right, rather than No Mercy. But speaking of No Mercy, who will Becky face there? Will Becky be moved to NXT? Will she continue being like on Raw still, or like this reign will speak volumes as to how they think of the title. Because if it's done right, you can elevate a number of people, a number of challengers with Becky commences until she eventually drops it to someone, giving them a high profile win over one of the bigger names in WWE. It's all around, it's really good stuff. But the potential you've got here, you can raise the profiles of like people like Blair Davenport, Lyra Valkyria, Jesus, like Gigi Dolan, even JC Jane. Like there's a bunch of people you could elevate with this. Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, I suppose. Like there's a bunch of names you can really elevate with this. So now that was NXT. Overall, good stuff, very good stuff, and that tends to be the way of NXT. It tends to be really good. has a couple of matches that are like sub 5 minutes, which doesn't make sense again in the idea of being a 2 hour show. But yeah, we move on now to NXT Level Up, the little mini review that we do for the Global Heritage Invitational stuff. We have a Group A match. Tyler Bate in his second match against Chai Dempsey, who's on 0 points. And Tyler wins with the bridge flash pin. I rated 3 4 stars. Tyler goes up to 4 points in this match. It was uneventful. It was good, but it was uneventful. There was mention that this was an unofficial like rubber match between the two of them. It didn't feel like that. It felt more like one of those run-of-the-mill matches that ultimately we all knew Tyler was going to win anyway. So Charlie, unfortunately, ultimately even, has no horse in the race and has no points. The match kind of fell flat because of that, and Tyler wins, and he'll go on to 4 points. And next week's match with Butch will be to decide the A block. So it seems like we're down to our metaphorical final 5 in the Heritage Tournament, where we have in Group A, Butch and Bate, and in Group B we have the three-way tie of Coffee, Frazier, and Hudson. Obviously, if Hudson beats Coffee, that is. If Coffee beats Hudson, Coffee wins the block anyway. So, yeah. We move on to AEW Rampage for the 15th of September. Again, only an hour show, so it's much more digestible. So kicking things off with a massive 8-man tag as the Lucha Brothers team with the Hardys to take on Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and the Butcher and the Blade. Sounds like a long name there for a team, but the Lucha Bros win. Lucha Bros and the Hardys win after Phoenix hits a Rikishi driver on the Blade. I don't know what he calls it. It's like one of those sit out drivers. Post match, Satnam Singh lays out the Hardys on the ramp, and then the Righteous they finger snap over the bodies of Matt and Jeff. You can't hear me clicking because I can't do it. But what I'm doing is I'm doing what Vincent does. Vincent does this, and he's walking over the bodies. Is it annoying yet? Are you annoyed? No, I can keep going. He does that basically. But this was a 2.5 star rated. It was a bog standard 8-man tag. You'd expect more given that it has Penta Phoenix and Jay Lethal involved, but no, this was pretty much a it's pretty much a thrown in as Phoenix looks to build a steam for his title match against Moxley on Grand Slam, and Penta and Lethal have nothing going at the moment. So yeah, that opened the show. We then get an interview with Britt Baker. Britt claims her stake for the TBS title, whether it's Statlander or Cargill, it doesn't matter. Main event of Collision. Cool. We then get a vignette. QTV is back. The gang wonder if QT is going to come back, but never fear because it's not QT. Instead, it's Johnny TV. It works. Anyway, Johnny talks about how QT is kicking ass over in Mexico that they call him the Mexicutioner, which is apparently the nickname for Manny Pacquiao, who is also Aaron Solo's uncle. I have no idea how true that is. Anyway, and Johnny then introduces El Hijo del Harvey, who's here to show solidarity with the people of Mexico, and then Johnny beats him up. Harley then goes a bit crazy and almost stabs him with her scissors. The poor Lucha intern. The more I see QTV, the more I'm sold by them. The more I'm on board with what they do, because it's so stupid, and I think they know that. It feels like something that they're leaning into now with the gimmick, and it seems like they're not so serious anymore, which is ultimately what you want from it, because it's not meant to be a serious group. I think QT wanted to be a serious group, but no one could take it seriously because it was QT Marshall. But yeah, moving on before QT sees this and it gets annoyed. Christopher Daniels teams with Matt Sydal to take on the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. And the Kingdom win after a Proton Pack, which is the backpack by Mike Bennett and then the running kick by Taven at the same time. Post-match, Taven and Bennett raise awareness for Neck Health Awareness Month and they stake their claim for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Bennett then demonstrates what to do when someone tells you they don't care about neck health, which is essentially human balls, and then you just hit a set out driver on them, and you. I rated this 3.25 stars. It was a solid tag match. I love seeing the Kingdom wrestle, and I love seeing Chris Daniels and Matt Sydal in action as well. 4 names that aren't typically on Rampage or Dynamite or even Collision. I think they're all typically on Ring of Honor, so I don't watch that. Spoilers, so I don't entirely know what's on there. We get an interview now with Swerve Strickland and Brian Cage and Prince Nana. Nana is upset that the Bucks got involved in mobile embassy business, but Swerve will have none of this. He challenges the Hung Bucks to a trios match on Dynamite Grand Slam. I wonder if this will be some sort of swerve. And they end up facing the Dark Order because they own the term Hung Bucks on BTE. So it might be something there. I doubt it, but it might be. Then we get the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn taking on the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd and Pretty Peter Avalon. The Acclaimed and Billy win following a famouser and a mic drop over Peter Avalon. Post-match, the Dark Order appear. The people I just mentioned, they appear. They proclaim that they're the good guys, they claim the bad guys, and that they've been building and battling for years, and that they deserve their opportunities. A singles match is then proposed for Collision between one of each group, which as of right now, it is John Silver and Anthony Bowens. I rate this 1.5 stars, the match itself. It was a squash, nothing more, nothing less. But yeah, it's time for the best part of the night. It's Aussie Open. They take on Damian Chambers and Lord Crew. Aussie Open win after a Coriolis on Chambers and then on Crew. This is an automatic 5-star match for Aussie Open. Moving on. No, but seriously, I don't know if I can even rate this a single star. It was less than a minute long. It was like 30 seconds long. You know what? Fuck it. 1 star. 1 star. You get 1 star because it's Aussie Open dominating, and that is their best mode. And now it's time for the main event. But there's no Mark Emmett, so I don't know if I can do that now. So I don't know where he went this week. He just went there. For the TBS title, Jade Cargill against Chris Statlander. The match that we were due to get probably before Jade went on her hiatus, for whatever reason she went on a hiatus for. But yeah, Chris wins and retains the title with the Friday Night Fever. Post-match, Jade and Chris embracing a hug that sort of symbolised Jay passing the torch or the title onto Chris, I guess. But yeah, 3.5 stars I rated this. Match of the night for me. Jade seemingly improved in ring, but that could be because she was against Chris. I don't know. But apparently this was Jade Cargill's last appearance for AEW before she makes her way to WWE. So congrats to her, and I wish her the best of luck. She should shine there among that roster. But yeah. That was Rampage. Rampage, as usual, is the weaker show of the two. Because Rampage is not as story-driven, more goofy, more wacky, more experimental. But yeah, I'm down for it. It's fine. It's only an hour anyway, so it's not much to watch. But yeah, that brings an end to HCW Show Squared. Thank you for watching. I've been Dan, DP, D-Z, Europe. And that's it, really. See you in the next one. Peace.